You're watching millions of dollars vanish, careers built over decades destroyed in moments. These weren't just average players. These were champions, major winners, household names who had everything: the fame, the fortune, the respect. And they threw it all away. Today, you're going to witness 10 of the most devastating career collapses in golf history. Some made one terrible decision. Others couldn't escape their own demons. But they all share one thing in common. They went from the top of the sport to absolute rock bottom. Stick around until the end, because number one might be the most shocking fall from grace you've ever heard. Let's get into it. Let's start with number 10, Beau Hossler. You're looking at a player who once dominated amateur golf and turned professional with massive expectations. This golfer had everything lined up: sponsorship deals worth millions, a PGA Tour card, and the talent to compete with the best. The problem? An absolute inability to handle pressure. During crucial tournaments, you'd see Hossler crumble on the back nine, not just losing leads, completely falling apart. Three-putting from 10 feet, hitting balls into water hazards on easy holes. It was painful to watch. But here's where it gets worse. Instead of working with sports psychologists or taking time to rebuild confidence, Beau publicly blamed caddies, course conditions, and even other players for the failures. Sponsors started backing away. Tournament invites dried up. Within 3 years of turning pro, this once promising talent was playing mini tours, barely making enough to cover expenses. The career that should have included multiple tour wins ended before it really began. A cautionary tale about mental toughness being just as important as physical skill. Number 9 takes you back to an era when golf was exploding in popularity. John Daly burst onto the scene with one of the most beautiful swings you've ever seen. Commentators called it poetry in motion. The ball flight was perfect, the distance was incredible, and the wins started piling up. Multiple tour victories, a major championship at the PGA Championship in 1991. You're watching a future Hall of Famer in the making. Daly was in the prime of his career, ranked in the top 10 in the world. Then came the distractions. Late-night partying became the norm. Missing pro-am commitments, showing up to tournaments unprepared. But the real killer? Gambling. Not just casual betting, we're talking serious money disappearing at casinos and poker tables. The focus shifted from birdies to blackjack, from practice ranges to card tables. Performance on the course nosedived. The swing that was once effortless became inconsistent. Sponsors demanded their money back when contracted appearances were no-shows. By the mid-1990s, John Daly had lost tour status completely. The estimated losses from gambling? Over $55 million by his own admission. The wasted potential? Immeasurable. This is what happens when you let off course activities destroy on-course excellence. Player number 8 had a different kind of problem. Sergio Garcia. You're looking at someone who actually had sustained success on the European Tour and PGA Tour. Multiple wins, consistent top 10 finishes. Garcia was respected, well-liked, and financially secure. The downfall? Trusting the wrong people with money. Sergio got involved in what seemed like legitimate business investments: real estate development projects, golf course construction, tech startups. On paper, everything looked perfect. But you know what they say. If it looks too good to be true, it probably is. The business partners were running elaborate schemes. Money was being funneled into shell companies, and Sergio, focused on playing rather than financial details, signed everything without proper legal review. When everything collapsed, the losses were significant. We're talking about millions of dollars gone. The legal battles dragged on for years. Even though criminal charges were never filed against Sergio personally, the reputation took a hit. Tournament focus suffered. Sponsors became wary. The career that should have continued smoothly hit major turbulence. A solid career affected not by poor play, but by poor financial decisions and questionable associations. And here's something you need to remember for later.
This won't be the last time you see a golfer damaged by off-course business dealings on this list. Number 7 is where things get really controversial. Vijay Singh had legitimate star power. You're watching someone who won 3 major championships, competed in multiple President's Cups, and was a fan favorite. The game was at an elite level. The future seemed limitless. Then came the whispers. Then came the accusations. Then came the evidence. Performance-enhancing substances. In 2013, Singh admitted to using deer antler spray, which contained IGF-1, a banned substance on the PGA Tour's list. When you're caught using banned substances in professional golf, the fallout is massive. This isn't a sport where people expect chemical enhancement. The PGA Tour initially filed a lawsuit, then Singh countersued. The whole situation became a legal mess that dragged on for years. Every previous win was now questioned. Every clutch putt, every long drive, every tournament victory, all of it viewed through a different lens. Did the substances make the difference? Would success have happened naturally? You'll never know, and neither will anyone else. The golf community's trust was damaged. Fellow players questioned the integrity. Fans who once cheered became skeptics. While Singh eventually settled with the tour and continued playing, the damage to his legacy was permanent. The career that should have been celebrated as one of the hardest working players in golf history became clouded by controversy. The Hall of Fame credentials are there, but so is the asterisk in many people's minds. Vijay Singh will forever be remembered for the controversy as much as the 3 major championships. That's the real cost of poor judgment. Halfway through our list, and number 6 might hit you differently. Michelle Wie West. You're looking at someone who is called a prodigy before even graduating high school. The junior golf record was spotless. She qualified for LPGA events at just 10 years old. Turning professional at 15 seemed inevitable. The hype machine went into overdrive. Comparisons to Tiger Woods, endorsement deals worth millions signed before winning a single LPGA tournament, magazine covers, television interviews. Wie was being positioned as the next big thing in golf. Then reality hit. The pressure of being a teenage professional was overwhelming. Injuries started piling up, wrist problems that required surgery. The expectations were impossible to meet. Every tournament became a referendum on whether she lived up to the hype. The decision to compete against men in PGA Tour events, while brave, often resulted in missed cuts and criticism. The focus became divided. The development that should have happened naturally was rushed and forced. Now, Michelle did eventually win the U.S. Women's Open in 2014, proving the talent was real. But the career trajectory was forever altered by early burnout, injuries, and unrealistic expectations placed on a teenager. The potential for multiple majors and domination of women's golf was compromised by turning professional too early and being pushed too hard too fast. This wasn't a career ruined by scandal or poor choices, but by a system that failed to protect a young talent. You're witnessing what happens when hype exceeds maturity, when commercial interests override proper development. A cautionary tale for every young golfer and their parents. But if you think that's difficult to watch, wait until you see what the top 5 did to destroy their careers. Number 3 involves a scandal that shocked the entire sports world. Number 5 takes you to a player with a truly global career. Greg Norman, the Shark. Success on multiple tours, European, Australian, PGA Tour. Norman understood how to win and did it consistently. 89 professional victories worldwide. You're looking at someone who earned well over $100 million throughout his career. And the lifestyle matched the earnings. Luxury everywhere. Multiple properties, expensive cars, private jets, a massive business empire including golf course design, wine, clothing, living the absolute dream that professional golf can provide. Then came the divorce from Laura Andrassi in 2007 after 25 years of marriage. But not just any divorce, one of the most expensive in golf history. The personal details became public. The financial details became public. The settlement was massive. Reports suggested over $100 million in the division of assets. While there wasn't scandal or hidden accounts like some cases, the sheer financial impact was staggering. But here's what made Greg Norman's situation unique. He rebuilt. The business empire continued. The golf course design work expanded. Unlike others on this list, Greg showed resilience. However, the playing career never reached the same heights again after the personal turmoil. The major championship drought continued. Those famous near misses and the 1996 Masters collapse were never avenged with another major win. The focus required for championship golf was divided by business interests and personal matters.
Greg Norman's career wasn't completely ruined like others on this list, but the combination of personal distraction and shifting focus meant unfulfilled potential. One of the greatest ball strikers ever ended his playing career with only 2 major championships, when it should have been 5 or 6. Now you're entering the truly controversial territory. Player number 4 is Dustin Johnson. Multiple major championships, including the US Open and Masters. World number 1 for over 100 weeks. A career that seemed destined for legendary status alongside the all-time greats. But Johnson's career has been marked by multiple suspensions and controversies. In 2014, he took a 6-month leave from golf. The PGA Tour never officially stated the reason, but widespread reports suggested it was related to substance issues, specifically testing positive for cocaine. Then there were the earlier rumors and incidents. A suspension in 2012 that was never fully explained. Whispers about recreational drug use that followed him throughout his career. Each time, Johnson and the tour remained relatively quiet, never fully addressing the speculation. The impact on his career was significant, but complicated. During the suspensions, you're talking about lost tournament appearances, lost earnings, and damaged reputation. Sponsors became nervous. The clean-cut image that golf demands was compromised. However, Johnson showed resilience. After the 2014 leave, he came back stronger, won the US Open in 2016, won the Masters in 2020, became world number 1. The talent was undeniable. But here's the thing. The career could have been even greater. The suspensions cost him prime years. The distractions affected consistency, and the lingering questions about his past never fully disappeared. Recently, Johnson's decision to join LIV Golf created another controversy, losing PGA Tour membership and creating division in the golf world. While financially lucrative, it further complicated his legacy. Dustin Johnson's career shows partial redemption is possible, but the shadows of past mistakes and controversial decisions never completely fade. What should have been a clear Hall of Fame legacy is now debated and questioned. Number 3 is the scandal that truly shocked the golf world. Phil Mickelson. You're looking at a golfer who had everything, and I mean everything. 6 major championships, 45 PGA Tour wins, one of the most popular players in golf history, Hall of Fame career by any measure. The money was flowing in, over $90 million in career prize money, endorsements worth tens of millions annually, appearance fees for international tournaments. Mickelson was set for life both during and after the playing career. Then came the investigations. First, insider trading. In 2016, Mickelson was involved in an insider trading case related to Dean Food stock. He agreed to pay back over $1 million in profits, though he wasn't criminally charged. But the real damage came from the gambling revelations. Reports emerged that Phil had gambling losses exceeding $40 million over a 4-year period. $40 million. Think about that number. Then came the LIV Golf controversy. In 2022, Mickelson gave an interview where he made shocking comments about the Saudi-backed league, acknowledging their human rights record, but saying it was worth it for leverage against the PGA Tour. The backlash was immediate and severe. Sponsors dropped him. KPMG, Amstel Light, Workday, all gone. We're talking about millions in annual income vanished overnight. Fellow players criticized him publicly. Fans turned against him.
Mickelson disappeared from golf for 4 months. When he returned, it was with LIV Golf, accepting reportedly $200 million, but losing his PGA Tour legacy and reputation in the process. The beloved lefty, who fans cheered for decades, became one of the most controversial figures in golf. A Hall of Fame career tarnished by greed, gambling problems, and spectacularly poor judgment about public relations. Phil Mickelson's scandal of a career wasn't destroyed in the traditional sense. He's still playing and got paid. But his legacy and reputation, absolutely ruined. And in golf, that matters just as much as the trophies. Player number 2 is the most complicated story on this list, Tiger Woods. You're looking at someone who wasn't just talented, he was revolutionary. The way Tiger approached the game changed golf forever. 15 major championships, 82 PGA Tour wins, tied for the all-time record, over $120 million in career prize money, endorsement deals worth over $1 billion throughout his career. Tiger Woods was the most dominant athlete in any sport for over a decade. Then came Thanksgiving weekend, 2009. The car crash, the revelations, the affairs, multiple affairs. The details were everywhere. Tabloids, mainstream news, social media. There was no escaping it. You watched the awkward press conference in 2010, the forced apology, the taking time away from golf announcement. But this wasn't just a personal scandal, this became a complete career derailment. The sponsors fled. Accenture, gone. AT&T, gone. Gatorade, Tag Heuer, Gillette, all gone. Or reduced. Over $100 million in annual endorsement income vanished overnight. The game fell apart too. The swing that was once consistent became unreliable. The mental focus that separated Tiger from everyone else completely disappeared. Injuries started piling up. Back problems, knee problems, multiple surgeries. The world ranking collapsed from number 1 to outside the top 100 at his lowest point. From automatic major championship favorite to struggling to make cuts, you were witnessing one of the most dramatic falls in sports history. There was the remarkable comeback, winning the Masters in 2019, proof the talent never fully disappeared. But then came the car accident in 2021, the DUI arrest years earlier, more questions about personal judgment. Tiger Woods' career is unique on this list. He achieved everything possible in golf, but the prime years from 34 to 43, the years where he should have added 5 or more major championships, were lost to scandal, injury, and personal struggles. The full potential was never realized. Tiger should have broken Jack Nicklaus's record of 18 majors. Instead, he stopped at 15. A career that should be remembered only for unprecedented dominance is now forever linked to scandal and what-ifs. Here's number 1. Robert Allenby. You're looking at one of the most bizarre career collapses in golf history. This Australian player had a solid career. 4 PGA Tour wins, multiple international victories, over $15 million in career earnings. Respected professional. Allenby was a consistent presence on tour through the 2000s and early 2010s, made millions, lived comfortably, had the respect of fellow players. Not a superstar, but a successful journeyman pro living the dream. Then came January 2015 in Hawaii. Allenby claimed he was kidnapped, robbed, beaten, and dumped in a park after a night out in Honolulu. The story made international headlines. Photos of facial injuries were released. It seemed like a terrifying random attack. But then the investigation happened, and the story fell apart. Security footage didn't match Allenby's timeline. Witnesses contradicted his version of events. Police found no evidence of kidnapping, no violent attack, just a drunk golfer who created a false victim narrative to explain his injuries and behavior. The reaction was brutal. Fellow players called him out publicly. Stuart Appleby said the story didn't add up. Jason Day questioned the claims. The golf community turned against him for lying. But Allenby didn't stop there. He continued making outrageous claims, said he was a victim, threatened lawsuits, made increasingly bizarre statements to media. Each interview made things worse. The career ended not with fanfare, but with ridicule. Lost his tour card, couldn't get sponsors, became known as the golfer who made up a kidnapping story. What little reputation he had was completely destroyed. Robert Allenby's career destruction is unique on this list. It wasn't drugs or gambling or financial fraud or domestic violence. It was lying, creating a false victim narrative and then doubling down when caught instead of admitting the truth. In golf, integrity is everything. When you lose that, you lose everything. Allenby went from respected professional to industry joke, all because he couldn't tell the truth about getting drunk and falling down. You've just witnessed 10 careers that should have been legendary, but instead became cautionary tales. Some made single terrible decisions, others developed patterns of behavior that inevitably led to destruction, but all of them threw away opportunities that millions of people would die to have. The lessons are clear. Talent alone isn't enough. Character matters. Decisions off the course affect performance on it. And in professional golf, your reputation is everything. If you found this video eye-opening, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got more deep dives into golf history, player analysis, and tournament breakdowns coming your way. Drop a comment below. Which career collapse shocked you the most? Are there other players you think belong on this list? Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.